to meet everyone mostly. I apologize if I didn't get to you. But good news is, like everyone said, we're here to meet like-minded individuals. So hopefully afterwards I'll be able to network a little more efficiently, I guess I can say. But with my story, I won't keep you guys long because I know it's National Championship night. And I'm from Louisiana, and I apologize ahead of time, guys. But anyway, my name is Dwight Womack from Louisiana. Moved here about 1 year and 4 months ago. My family and I, work opportunity. I guess you could say by day, I'm a software engineer. By night, I'm a grinder, and I try to fail as often as possible, if that makes sense. But grew up in South Louisiana, single parent home. Dad wasn't in the house. My mom was a paraplegic. Tough times growing up. I must say I really know how to make a really good syrup sandwich, so it got tough a lot of times. But nevertheless, I lost my mom in 1995 at the age of 10. Probably one of the worst parts of my life, man. I mean, it was just me and her for a long time. I have an older brother, but he was always on the dad's side of the family, and that's another story. But with that being said, I had God blessed me with a aunt that stepped in. You know, she had 3 college kids at the time, and seemed fit to take on the responsibility of bringing in a 10-year-old at that time and showing them the way, you know. Like I said, I really commend her because during the time she was showing me different attributes that I didn't know at the time that I used in life, as far as entrepreneurship, being driven. She had a barbershop where she started as an entrepreneur. Watched her at night go to business school and start a concrete company. Grew it, you know, to a very large company. My brother wound up taking over, and she just instilled in me, you know, that mentality of if you want it, go get it, basically. Don't use anything as an excuse. She could have used a single parent as an excuse. She could have used being a young lady as an excuse, but she didn't. And she didn't have to tell me this, and the same with my eyes. So, with that being said, she did what she could. I went on to go to college, earned a football scholarship, and track and field scholarship at Southeastern Louisiana University. Did pretty good in football and track and field. Thought I was going to the NFL, but the only problem with that, I was the only one that thought I was going to the NFL. So went and got a job, got a career in software, and was blessed to have some great jobs. I worked for Chevron corporate as their CAD support specialist. Basically, just overseeing the oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. I had a chance to work for a company called Bentley. So it went really well. But in 2015, life took a turn. I was laid off from those nice jobs at Chevron and things like that, and I wasn't in control as I thought I was. You know, I clocked in every day, false security, but nevertheless, I had a chance to really evaluate what was going on. You know, man, I need to do something else. Didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was going to be entrepreneurship. I didn't know it was going to be another field of study. I didn't know at the time. So with that, I had a chance to really, well, I reconnected with a friend, and he sat me down. I really had a chance to reflect, and he asked me some questions and kind of challenged me where I was mentally. And when I say mentally, as far as what are you reading, what are you doing, you know, who are you following, you know, what does your circle look like? If it's a bunch of people in your group that's kind of uplifting you, or are you kind of like the flagship guy in your group? And he challenged me to kind of check who my friends were. So with that, me and my family, you know, I went through a rough time for us finding employment. I did security. I was working at a clothing store. I was a corrections officer. And God seemed fit to put some people in my life to where I was able to find this opportunity in Oklahoma. At first, being from Louisiana, I was like, Oklahoma? I was like, I don't know about Oklahoma. Had a chance to come up, and I'll be honest with you, Oklahoma is the best thing that probably happened to me and my family in a long, long time. And I preach LSU, I'm gonna always preach LSU, but man, Oklahoma really has some nice people. I mean, I can't go on without saying how great it is to be here. But during that time, I had a chance to start an apparel company. And Grind Legacy the name comes from all those jobs I went through, all those odd-end hustles that I was getting into. That's what the goal was money in the beginning. All right, I was like, man, what can I do to provide for my family? What can I do to provide for my family? And one day I just asked myself, you know, is the money putting you in a position where you can help people? And I had to tell myself, like, no, it's not. You know, I was chasing the dollar. So I remember being on a construction site on one of these odd-end jobs, and I had my kids with me. And I had to wake them up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go on this job. And I just remember driving, picking up material, stakes for the job and things like that. And I must say, they didn't complain one bit. I stayed on that job from 4 o'clock that morning to about 8 o'clock that night. I mean, we finished concrete by flashlight, basically. And man, I just remember driving home, looking in the rear view. It's like, why am I busting my tail like this? Why am I pushing myself this way? You know, like, it has to be a better way. And when I looked in the mirror, I saw those two. I said, my legacy. That's why I'm doing this. The reason I'm getting up, I don't care what it is. If me getting up, going to work so they can eat and have a better opportunity, it doesn't even have to manifest as, you know, them making it, but they have the opportunity to make it. I said, I'm okay with that. So I put it on a shirt. Walked into a restaurant one day, and at first it was kind of like my feelings. This is what I feel. Walked into a restaurant one day, and the shift manager came up to me. She said, hey, look, you know, my boss wanted to know more about your shirt. You know, where did you get that from? I said, well, I made it. You know, this is a one of a kind, literally. This is it. And she basically said, well, he wants to know more about it. Long story short, he wound up being the owner of that restaurant and one of the top real estate people in our little city, Hammond, Louisiana. And we wound up being friends and things like that, but through that networking, he challenged me to say, hey, look, man, other people get it. Now, don't get me wrong, I grew up playing football. In the gym, failure is the key. The more you lift, the more fatigued you are in the gym, you come back the next day stronger, you know. And I was like, man, this may be able to apply to some other things, you know. And as I went, like I said, I saw it as a journey to educate myself as much as possible, all right? So I came up with these 4 E's that you guys have been hearing about, all right? Through business, which I have been a part of, through sports, which I've been a part of, and just taking risks that I've been a part of. 4 things were constant during that time. Now, don't get me wrong, when I think of failure to me is not an absolute, okay? I have a choice every day. So say, for instance, I woke up this morning and I forgot to go to the gym. The good news is God created this thing 24 hours at a time. So I get another chance tomorrow to go to the gym. So I can reflect on the day before. Man, did I do everything I could have? You know, why didn't I go to the gym? Well, I didn't get up early enough, so tomorrow I can get up early enough. Or did I iron my clothes for work? That's why I was behind. You know, I just get everything ready for tomorrow to go to the gym. And basically, I put that formula and it's applied it to basically, you know, like I said, business and other avenues that I was a part of, and everything was the same. So with my brand, I didn't know anything about different materials. I didn't know anything about, you know, wholesaling. I didn't know anything about vendors. I didn't know anything about, you know, about networking. So I educated myself on it. Same thing with real estate. I got into real estate and I was like, man, what is wholesaling? What is flips? You know, what is tax lien properties? You know, I educated myself on it. The next thing I did was execute the plan. all right, this is something I want to do. I need to set some goals. You know, I need to see what that looks like. You know, is it 50,000 a year in revenue from whichever stream? You know, if it's the shirts or if it's real estate. Endure the process. You know, is the process always going to be golden? As entrepreneurs in here, we know that is not the case. It's never that way. You know, it's always a situation where you can say, hey, look, you know, if it's learning from, you know, not making that extra phone call, if it's learning from, you know, not doing other things, and empowering the next person behind you. If it's, I try not to get choked up, but I have a brother by the name of Dwight Womack, and he is the reason I did sports. He's the reason I tried everything I did, track and field, all was motive behind him. And we had a 7-year difference between us. And I just remember he never told me no when I wanted to go somewhere with him. It never was a situation where, man, you stay behind, this, that, and the other. He always took the time to say, Dwight, man, you want to go with me? Or, you know, what is it you want to do, Dwight? And I was like, man, I want to play football in high school, man. I want to be really good. He gave me the formula. Hey, man, you got to do these many push-ups, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. When I say, hey, man, what will it take for me to get a scholarship? He gave me the formula. But he empowered me because he was a top athlete. He knew what to do already, you know. And it's just placed in my heart, man, just to push it forward. So that's one of the reasons I'm here tonight, is just to share those nuggets with you. You know, it's nothing, I guess you could say, you know, amazing, but I think if you implement those 4 things, educate yourself on the subject, execute the plan, endure the process, empower the next individual, I think you can do really well in whatever you do. If it's real estate, if it's business, I think you can really do well. So I don't want to keep you guys long. Like I said, I just wanted to share those nuggets. You know, we'll be networking tonight. But if you have any other questions, you know, that you want to pick my brain or anything like that about the business, about, you know, what I'm doing in real estate or anything like that, feel free to reach out. All right?
Well, we're going to have some Q&A, so they can ask you questions up there. So
I'm open.
Anybody got any questions?
What are you doing currently in real estate?
Well, I have a few properties in Louisiana. Right now, I'm a buy and hold guy. Me and Roger just finished talking about a deal that I'm trying to, you know, there's a young lady, a family friend, and it's funny because Roger and I always talked about the wholesaling side. I think I'm gonna stumble into that thing. But it's a situation where they, the mom is getting rid of the property, but the daughters don't want to keep it up. Like, we have our own lives.
Is that here in Oklahoma or Louisiana?
In Louisiana. Louisiana. So again, I have to do my own due diligence with that, you know, as far as you know, the bylaws and things like that. But I'm excited about it. So in real estate, that's what I'm doing right now. Buy and hold. I have a few, like I said, in Hammond, Louisiana, by the university I went to. So that's what I'm doing.
Can we go over the 4 E's again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotta write it down.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So the first one is educate yourself.
All right.
Educate yourself on the subject. Like I said, that could be mentorship. With technology these days, that can be YouTube, Google, mentorship. Like I said, that's, you know, and if it's, and I went to college. If it's a situation where you can, you know, get the knowledge from going back to school, by all means.
Yeah.
The second one is execute the plan. All right. Now, execute is holding yourself accountable at the same time. You know, if it's, you know, you setting goals, vision boards, you know, accountability partners, having someone that said, make sure you execute the plan. Hey man, what did you do to get yourself better today? What are you reading today? You know, who are you listening to? Personally, I think you guys should write this down if you hadn't heard of them. But Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N, my favorite. My favorite. And endure the process. When I say endure, that doesn't just mean, you know, make the mistake and live in it. It's, hey man, what did I do to make the mistake? You know, am I doing something totally different? Jim Rome says your life can be totally different from the previous 5 years, only if you make extreme changes, right?
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
So, exactly. So, I mean, I'm a big believer in it, you know. The last one is empowering. Who are you helping to get through those obstacles that you just got through? That is it on that one. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. Just help somebody. Just help somebody.
What are maybe some of the major differences in how you would deal with failure 10 years ago versus where you're at today?
I'll waddle in it. Just sit in
Oh,
there.
Ben.
That's a good question.
Right. I'm gonna tell you, man, it was kind of 10 years ago.
I'm stressed.
Right. 10 years ago, like I'm telling you, man, I'm a totally different person mentally.
Yeah.
10 years ago, the cup would have been half empty versus half full. I would have came up with every excuse not to do something, you know. Now, don't get me wrong, with sports, you know, you have that built-in deal. You can do anything, you know, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, it's like, man, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Versus taking time to reflect and make the changes needed to advance, if that makes sense. So, for me personally, man, like I said, I would have wallowed in it. I guess you could say, my mental capacity wasn't there to get past the obstacle. I'm a true believer in you can rewire yourself,
Oh, yeah.
if that makes sense. You know, you can take, now, obviously it takes discipline, but like now, my ritual is listening to something motivating in the morning. I read my devotional, and I don't push my faith on anybody in here, but that's just me.
Yeah.
My devotional, my motivation, and good news, my son wakes up with me every morning, and I'm trying to instill the same thing in him. You know what I'm saying? So
That's awesome.
How many coaches do you have right now?
right now, I have none, to be honest with you. Now, as far as somebody that, I guess you could say, that holds me accountable, I have a circle of guys that I can call and they'll ask questions, you know, hey man, what are you doing? And it's more of a friend deal, but I don't have, per se, a coach, but I have accountability partners, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I know that you're a man of faith.
Yes, sir.
We both go to the same church.
That's right.
And I understand that, and I would like to just share, where do you get your strength and your wisdom? It's not like I'm trying to put you on the spot.
No, that's what you're doing. No, joke.
Well, what I'm trying to share is, we both go the same way.
Exactly.
And I'd just like to share with everybody why we feel like we do, because of Jesus, and how Jesus plays the main part.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So watch this. It's funny that you say that, because I wasn't trying to go that far as the faith did, but you brought it up, not me, so.
I get the blame.
Right. So it goes back to the question from here is,
Right.
I kind of rewired myself. So part of rewiring was getting into my Bible a little more. By no means can I quote scripture or anything like that. But my thing is I signed up for the Christian class. Okay, so I'm gonna abide by the Christian rules. All right, and in that Bible, James 1.
Amen, bro.
2 through 4, and it's funny because it's kind of confirmation for this talk. But and this is the message version. But it says, consider it sheer gift, friends, when tests and challenges come at you from all sides. You know that you're under pressure. Your faith life is forced into the open and shows its true colors. So don't try to get out of anything prematurely. Let it do its work so you become mature and well-developed and not deficient in any way. All right? Now, I don't believe in coincidence. He asked me that question. I had this in my phone. So, but that's that's what built me. Things like that, and mind you, like I said, contemporary. Jim Rohn, the Bible, E.T. Thomas, Les Brown, Miles Monroe, Tony Robbins, Gene Grazant, man, I could go on and on.
Yeah.
Even in real estate, bigger pockets, you know, Roger.
That's right.
But no, just taking the time to accept where you're weak. I have a saying, I don't need to be the smartest person in the room, I just need to be smart enough to find the smartest person in the room.
Amen.
You know,
That's right.
so that's one of those deals. That's one of those deals.
But you talked about surrounding yourself, you said you were maybe at some point hanging out with the wrong
Yep.
people, how important that is to be with maybe like-minded people? Or
Absolutely.
good people?
Absolutely. Now, when I say I was hanging around the wrong people, it wasn't, I was never a partier. Even in college, I was never the type of person who would get into trouble or anything like that. When I say change your circle, identify your goals and find people that's trying to roll that way with you. They may not be bad and it may not be a situation, but if I'm into real estate, it's kind of hard to be with my friend that like to play video games all the time. You know, not saying I don't play video games, but the real estate is more important. You know, so what that looks like is, and I had good news, I have good friends, but early on, and obviously life changes. Life happens to everybody. You know, when I was younger, we did different things, but the older we get, even family members, cut family members off. Unfortunately, those are the first people I cut off. You know, it's kind of like, but to go back to what you said, is that surround myself with people that, I'm not going to even say better than I am, but they're doing it. They're not talking about it, you know. And to me, it's almost, it's a great lyric by the great Drake. But he says his circle is so small, it's like a period, almost. So it's kind of like, I have 5 friends, like true people I can call on the phone. Not only can I give them wisdom, but I can get something back. I put it like this, if you're making phone calls to friends and family and you're drained afterwards, that's probably some people you need to, you know what I'm saying? So, and I have a lot of them like that, and I'm like, hey, look, I love you to death, but if I see you, it's more like a, you know, so. But surrounding myself with just like-minded people, friends and family, like-minded individuals as far as, like I said, real estate, the things I'm interested in, you know, apparel. We have one friend, mutual friend, Roger and I, Vernon Dees. He's in apparel. And like I said, it's funny because in Louisiana, I didn't have all that. I didn't get it till I came to Oklahoma. You know, so it's kind of
nice
like,
people.
right, exactly, so.
Clean
but-
slate.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah.
So, when you're stepping into the unknown, like, what gives you that kick to actually step in something you don't know about? You know?
Those two. My wife. You have to find something that's gonna keep you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. For me, I'm legacy driven. That is it. So what that looks like is, all right, how can they go to college and it not be a burden for me and them? Or how can I provide a vacation for my wife and it not be a burden for her and I? You know, you got some families, and there's nothing wrong, nothing against it, but man, you got people that can get credit cards and stuff like that just to pay for the vacation versus getting that piece of real estate or a vacation property or something like that. So for me, like I said, I'm legacy driven. It has to be, and again, this goes back to rewiring your mind. So like I say now, you know, just knowing, not knowing the future, but knowing where I want to go into the future. You know, that's my push. That's all it takes for me. It's not science for me. It's kind of like that's what I'm doing. You know, it's reading so they can know better. It's reading so I can be a better father, a better husband, and just go from there. Yeah. So find your why. Yeah, right.
Why doesn't make you cry.
Right. Exactly. What you got?
So did you start real estate as a buy and hold investor, or did you start building capital other ways with like wholesaling or like when did you learn about real estate?
Well, I've always, I say seriously, I always, you watch TV, you watch movies, and you see all these guys that own real estate and stuff like that. So, exactly. And I've always been interested in real estate.
Yeah.
But the same question came up, was like, man, how can I get started? Because I was that same person, like, man, it takes money to make money, it takes money to make money.
Yeah.
But I found out that is not true. All right? And again, it goes to the talking point today. All right? So I look at it like this. I think excuses and failure kind of coincide. I think it only happens because of a lack of knowledge, all right? And the reason I say that is because you got a ton of people in the world that says it takes money to make money, but you got a ton of people in the world that say I deal with no money down, So if it's been done already, I can't use that as an excuse. So the goal is to find out what do they do, and the only way I can do that is educate myself on it. So with that being, example, 6 years ago, I wanted to get into real estate. So the first thing I looked up, a friend of mine came to me, and he told me about tax adjudicated properties. And at the time, I was like, well, we still need money for that. Then I came across tax lien certificates. And that's where I got involved, because it only was a couple $100 to do that. Right. So that was the bug that bit me. Right. And then from there, I just started educating myself a little more. And then I went on to buy my first property. So
Nice.
yeah. Awesome. So educate yourself on it. Like in anything, man. Like in anything that you guys consider as an excuse or just knowledge is probably going to be the way out of it. All right. Or to see the way out. And then obviously execution comes next.
Legacy logo with your brand, like how are you marketing yourself, and who's really paying attention to that?
So in Hammond, I have a good friend by the name of Terry Adams. And Terry Adams is a world-renowned BMX guy. All right. So in Louisiana, I was able to, and mind you, this is like a 3-year process. So I started this brand, I did this whole deal, and through some mutual friends, I was able to meet Terry. Sat down with Terry. Terry started his own brand called Things That Matter. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the, I think it's 16 and the Pregnant TV show that used to come on MTV or whatever, but one of the main characters that they are partners with Terry, a brand called TTM, Things That Matter. And I sat down with Terry, and Terry was one of those people that held me accountable. I came to him with all the excuses. Man, I work every day. I have no time to get a trademark done. I make money, this, that, and the other. And he kind of snickered at me. He was like, okay. And I could hear in his voice he wanted to, I guess you could say, invest, but he knew I wasn't in position to do that. So with that, I educated myself on the deal. I said, I got to get trademarks. I got to find a manufacturer. I got to do all this stuff to get Terry involved. Year passed, year and a half passed. Terry started noticing on my Instagram that my brand is looking a lot cleaner. Everything's a little sleek. He's like, man, things are nice, bro. I sent him some shirts. And Terry's like, man, I really like it as partner. Now, I don't want to, Terry travels outside the country like every other week. Like he's a big deal in the BMX world. Gold medal. The USA reached out to him to represent them in the Olympics, I think the next Summer Olympics. So it became a big deal. Also through social media, I was able to reach out to a actor, and it's funny how social media makes the world this small. But I reached out to an actor in Hollywood. He's known as shows Westworld, Queen of the South, a bunch of TV shows. He's a big time guy. And he identified with the message. Because as an actor, those guys do auditions 24/7, and they may not even get a call back. So he understood exactly what the grind meant. And he reached out to me and said, hey man, let me get a shirt, you know, type deal. Sent it to him. And is there any like R&B fans in here? Like, yeah, okay. Now,
So
so
don't make that anymore.
right. Not the good guy.
Not the good guy.
Right. So the guy, David, his name is David Fiacci, he was like, man, hey look, man, why don't you send me a shirt, man, send my guy one. I was like, who's your guy? Man, Ricky Bell. What, Ricky Bell? I was like, what? It's not me. And I was like, and I started singing a song in my head, like, Bobby, Ricky, I was like, from New Edition? And he was like, yeah, man, you know, and so a few months later, I'm scrolling through social media, and I see Ricky Bell. Now, for you guys that don't know who Ricky Bell is, you know who Bobby Brown is, right? They're in the same group, you know, and they are R&B royalty. And I see him shooting this new video in my shirt, and I was like, dude, this is insane. But nevertheless, man, I mean, Cam Jordan from the Saints, that's with some apparel. I hadn't seen him wear it yet, but I'm trusting that he's wearing it and people are seeing it. But no, that's just a few guys, and mind you, like I say, by no means am I like a multi-million-dollar, I'm not the next Damon John right now, but you can't tell me that it's not gonna happen.
That's right.
I can see it, I mean, it's clear as day, I can see it. And what's driving it is, the money doesn't drive it. How many people can I help in that process?
Yeah.
You know, if one of you guys came out of this whole deal saying, yeah, failure is necessary, and the reason I'm doing real estate is because I want to leave something to my kids, I think I've done my job.
Yeah.
You know, so at the end of the day, it's because of the people, you know, and I'm a big believer, this is the way God is orchestrating this thing, and like I said, hopefully a few years from now, you know, I could be that guy coming up here, hey, you know, you guys heard my story, so this is the end result, so. But yeah, that's some of the guys I've been able to reach and contact with the brand. So.
Where can we look at your shirts? Do you have like a website?
Yeah. So if you're on social media, Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn, Instagram is @grind_legacy.
You're not on
Grind
Facebook.
School?
I am not. I haven't. I'll be honest with you. I'm lacking in that area. Yeah. So
What is it on
Can you
Instagram?
say that again, please?
@grind_legacy. But for those that are not on social media, the website is grindlegacy.com. And the same handle for Twitter. Yes.
My question is, how do you ask for help? I have an issue with that. I don't like to ask for help, because I'm always independent, and I have been like that for many years.
Right.
I haven't even asked for my parents. I've been out of my house since I was 16.
Right.
So it is hard for me to ask, hey, can you coach me?
Right.
So how?
First, the way I'm preface that is, what are you reading and what are you listening to right now, as far as motivation? Are you listening?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
I listen to Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Eric Thomas. If you see my Facebook, I'm the crazy one that every Monday I say, it is Monday, guys. I love you.
Thank God
And
it's
my
Monday.
thing is,
Start
I love
making money.
Mondays. I love Mondays because of Eric Thomas.
Right.
So yes, Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins. I do listen to a lot of motivational. I am reading a book by Stephen Vancouver. He's a guy, a real estate guy from here. He's the savvy landlord. So I'm reading his book.
Nice.
So I am doing that, but when it comes to people, I have it hard to say, hey Roger, can you help me?
Now watch this. Now, and this is a personal experience. First off is, when you're asking for help, are you asking for help or are you bringing the deal? Because you got to realize in your
I
mind.
don't ask for help at all.
Right. Well, what I'm getting at is, are you coming? It's the difference between help. Are you coming to, man, I got a deal where it'll benefit you to be a part of this?
I'm always bringing something. If I ask for help, and Roger knows this, if I say, bro,
Right.
I can help you, you can help me.
By the way you just phrased that, I would be a little more, like, forthcoming.
Okay.
You know, like, it's, like I said, it's a difference between, hey, look, like I just did. I think, you know, just look at it, just look at it. It's like, hey, you know, you gotta come up like, look, man, you know, I have a deal for you.
Yeah.
You know, we can make this much, we can do this, in this time frame.
Okay.
If you don't get on the boat, and you paraphrase this, obviously, but if you don't get on the boat, you're gonna miss it,
Yeah.
type deal. So so if I come to with a deal like, hey, look, I talked to a friend of mine, but I wanted to come to you first, you know, with the deal, because I know you really was looking for something.
Freak up my self-esteem, or?
I wouldn't even say self-esteem.
You're Alejandra.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I always say I'm awesome, like people say, so what do you do? I'm awesome. I'm awesome. So I don't think it's a self-esteem issue, it's
Yeah, I don't
more
think so
like
either.
little things like, hey, I need help with this. Like right now, just like you, I just became a realtor, but I've been in real estate 5 years. And I have issues to even ask my broker, how do I do the paperwork? I mean, little things like that that are stopping from me to have success.
That would fuel me right there. I'm missing the opportunity to sell this much real estate. I'm
Just
missing this commission
Yeah.
because I won't ask for help.
Yeah.
Don't be stuck there.
That's why I'm asking you.
Right,
Help
right,
me get out of
right,
here.
right. The only, like I said, the only thing I can do is, like I say, is push through. I mean, you have the formula, you put it in place. I mean, you listen to the motivation and stuff like that. And like I said, that only goes so far. You gotta execute what Tony is talking about.
Yeah.
You gotta execute what Roger's telling you.
Yeah.
You have to execute and endure. If somebody if she tells you no, that's okay. Go get some help from someone else. But you know what you're dealing with now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You know that's a no.
Yeah.
You know. Example.
You have to realize people are more willing to help you than you ever think.
I got an example for you.
I know you're a broker, girl.
Alex, watch this. If I told you somebody in this room had $1,000 in their pocket for you, how many no's would you take to get the $1,000 from them?
I'll take all the no's until I get the
Exactly. So that's the way you need to treat everything else.
Okay,
That's the
so
way you
let's
need to
get
treat everything else.
Got it.
I got a question, man. How much of a difference has your morning ritual made, like your productivity throughout the day?
I wouldn't necessarily say productivity, just because I'm that type of guy. You know, like I'm gonna listen to it and things like that. I guess you could just say my mindset has changed tremendously. Even if I don't dot all the I's, I'm okay. Because at the end of the day, it's my decision. So, example, if I want $100,000 in real estate or revenue this year in real estate, and I know I want to go to this many football games, I want to go to these many parties, I have to be okay that I'm not going to get to $100,000 this year because I made these decisions along the way, but I'm okay with that. That's one thing I try to tell people is make the decision and be okay with it, no matter what it is. It's your decision. A lot of people are like, man, I didn't decide to do this, I didn't decide to do that, but did you? You know, I want to be successful. How many books are you reading? I hadn't read any books yet. I don't have money to buy books. We got libraries. You know, or I want a job, man, but I don't have a computer. They have libraries. You know, it's like all excuses. But like I said, the knowledge comes in. What if you knew or did a little research or called someone, or you'll know that they had computers here or computers there. So like I said, man, be okay with the decision no matter what. So like I said, man, when I get up in the morning, that's my ritual, but it programmed me to be okay with all of that.
Any other questions?
In dark places, where do you find light?
That's good. I like that.
Legacy driven.
I like that.
Legacy driven. Everything is legacy with me, man. Yeah, but even if I think, gotta do this, gotta do that, because it's twofold. It's the reason I don't want to do bad, it's the reason I want to do good. You know what I'm saying? So,
What do you prefer first?
far as what?
In anything that you do? guiding you and like giving you that wisdom and knowledge to continue on the day to day?
Like I said, man, reading the word, that scripture I read to you, like I said, if it's in that book, I kind of abide by it. And it's one of those deals where it's nothing new under the sun. You know, it's in that book. You know, and you get all these gurus and everything. And I say, and it's all good. Like I listen to that, but all of it was there first. You know,
Yeah.
and I kind of use that as a barometer and check it against everything else. You know, like the scripture I read to you. Now, motivational speakers come to you and say all the time, well, like Stephen Covey said habit. I'm sorry, what is it? Stephen Covey said 7 effective habits. Yeah, I mean, he didn't come up with that. He put it in a book and marketed it, but you know.
And I listened to one of Steve Harvey's speech.
Nice.
He talks about how he's like, yeah, you can read about Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, or how to influence friends and all that.
Yeah.
But he said like literally all of it is on Proverbs.
Right.
Like,
Right.
legit, like you can read all those books, but if you come down to it, I mean, why not go to the original source?
Right.
But yeah, and then once I read Proverbs, I was like, oh, I'm all in. Like, what else is in here? You know?
Right.
But yeah, it's good.
And like I said, man, and you may open the book and you may not get it right there, man. But it's the discipline that's going to guide you.
Yeah.
You know, it's the discipline. So I read this scripture, man, and it's something about, like, when I read that deal, and we've seen it at church, when he talked about it at church, I was like, this is grind niggas all day. Like, this is it. Like, you know, and I don't want to miss any opportunities, man. And there's no sequel to this movie, guys. When we in the dirt, man, that is it. So why not fail? This, to me, that's my mindset. That's like, I'll be doing mankind a disservice if I don't try. If I never came, I really believe if I never came up with Grind Legacy, somebody's missing out. I missed that person, that individual. Because you got to realize, man, everything we do is a contact sport. We're here for one reason, to help people. The people that say, man, I got it out the mud, man, I'm self-driven, I'm self-motivated, man, you're missing it. You need to encompass everything in this room. It's not that you're using each other, you're partnering. Now that may be real estate, that may be life. We're partnering. Yeah. Nobody has anything in this room that didn't come through a person. The clothes on your back was made by a manufacturer, you bought it from the store where the lady checked you out, your car, your books, the paper you're writing on, the books you're reading. That's how this thing works, through people.
Yeah.
So if your dreams don't help people, it's just going to be difficult to make that happen if you're not including people in your purpose, in your dream. That's the basis of it. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, after you've been through everything, do you unpack your day? Do you celebrate everything that you've been through, the setback, as a learning experience that you grew from?
Yeah.
Or how do you because you talk about how you started your day, but how do you end your day?
That's a good question. That's a good question. For me personally, now, I want to get in the habit of writing it down. Again, Jerome mentions that. How can you mark a day in history if you don't record it? You see what I'm saying?
Journaling?
Say it again?
Like journaling or?
Yeah, journaling, that's perfect. But I reflect, maybe not every day, but say for instance, like with this deal with the guy I mentioned, Terry Adams. We came together and we did this big campaign as far as, press release, BMX professional, partner with Grind Legacy, blah, 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 blah. And he mentioned, he was like, I'm talking about thousands of people seeing this. Thousands. And I went to the website, I was like, man, this is not accumulating like I thought it would, man. And he basically said, we need to retract, we need to see what the issue is. And we wound up coming to the conclusion where there was an issue on the website. And it wasn't, the website was up and running and things like that, but it was this little small thing that, through the partnership of Terry, I would have never seen. It's one of those deals where faith was necessary, you know. It's like, we did all this deal, because I wouldn't have known if we wouldn't have had this big campaign, which I would have just been, you know, a couple of orders here, a couple of orders there, blah, 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 and just been okay. But it took something to that level to say, no, let's retract. And he called me apologizing, and I was like, dude, you don't have to do that. I said, you know my motto, like this was necessary. Now I know what the problem is, but I can fix it, and the next run we do, we should be good, you know, so. But yeah, I definitely reflect, man, and on a day-to-day, I mean, I may need to do it every day, but I know for a fact every other day I kind of reflect, like, man, where's the brand? What am I doing to get better? You know, if it's real estate, like I said, if it's the brand, if it's helping other people, you know, who did I impact today? You know, it takes whatever your personal goals, and like I said, they have to be important to you, because anybody if it's important to you, you make time for it, you know. But definitely I reflect on it.
Do you think if you journaled that, you talk about your legacy, do you think if you journaled that you have kids and so later they can look through that to kind of unpack who their dad is?
Thanks for challenging me. All right. That would be perfect. That would be perfect, man. That would be perfect. So that's the nugget I'm taking away from this deal. But absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
I really like the name. How did you come up with it? Because I'm trying to figure out a name for company, and I'm not sure how to.
Well, for me personally, like I said, it came from the hard work I was putting in different things, all right? And at the time, it was construction. But as it evolved, it went from the kids to being able to speak to, I think a lot of us think legacy is just children, our immediate circle. But I think it goes beyond that. I think it's being in a group of individuals. If you guys took one thing and were able to apply it and go forward, and your peers, you know, my friends, you know, I have a group of friends that call me all the time, like, hey man, I appreciate that. You know, I send them my little texts and this, that, like, and things like that. But like I say, legacy is whoever you impacted, not just children, but who you impacted in that process. Again, it goes back to the people. You know, so like when I started, it was the grind, which is the hard work, and the legacy, who I can impact. So I would tell you to kind of, I don't know the company, but I would tell you to, how does the company identify with your morals or your beliefs? And give a thesaurus and just come up with different names or whatever impacts you mostly. No problem.
How long does it take you to get out of your funk after failure?
Oh, I don't know that.
Not really.
Like I said, the mindset is different now. It's more of a, okay, because another guy you guys can listen to is Eric Worre, W-O-R-R-E. He's the type of person, he plays the numbers. So say for instance, if I wanted to sell, I'm a real estate agent, I want to sell 100 houses or do 100 transactions or whatever. And I only talk to one person, the likelihood of me getting into that number is 0. If I talk to 1,000 people, the likelihood of me getting to that number is a lot more likely, right? So I look at it like that. I'm like, man, how fast can I get to a no to get to the yes I want? You know, so I just work my way through the room, look for that $1,000. Nope, no, okay, no, okay, no, okay, no, yes, okay. It only took me 5 people this time. But just knowing that you have to get through the list, get through the no's to get to the yes.
How do you, when you run out of creativity, building brand, where do you go to find more?
Oh, is that the morning?
Oh, okay.
So, perfect example. It's good you said that. This particular logo, when I was growing up, Sean John, like, I love Sean John. And Sean John had like a signature series. I don't know how many people remember Carl Kanai. he had the same thing. And I was like, I make my own brand now, so I want the same thing. So that's what I do. So I follow other people that's doing it.
Yeah.
Lonnie Fade with Kid.
And then just add your own spark to it.
Yeah, make my own. So, Ronnie Fade with Kid, Bobby Hundreds, Supreme, Fortune, I follow all those guys and just, and this is nice. I even went to the TTM site with my friend Deal.
Yeah.
They're doing it, you know, and I'm trying to get there. I know a lot of people are like, man, I don't want to be the next Jordan. But he did pretty good.
Yeah.
So I can get close, you know, I'm okay with it. You know. Anybody?
Oh, well, one more question. So you own real estate in Louisiana, right?
Correct.
But you live here in Oklahoma.
Correct.
How are you managing in the different states?
I have a property manager.
Oh, okay, so you got a property manager. So how are you being successful? Is it because of your systems there? Or like what all do you have in your systems to make that successful? So you
In
have a
real
property
estate?
manager, yeah, for real estate.
So I'm a big believer in team.
Yes.
And you can say football, instill that, but I'm a team guy. Like I said, I don't need to be the smartest person in the room, I just need to be able to find the smartest person.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing property management. I'll find somebody that does it. Real estate agent. So in Louisiana, I have a team. So if I'm looking on the MLS in Louisiana and I see a property, I have a good friend of mine, he's in real estate. Hey, Warren, can you go swing by this property, take a look at it, make sure it's worth it? And he'll tell me right away because he's looking at the same properties I'm looking at. So he's like, man, it's in the flood zone, I wouldn't deal with it. So that's done. Or if I get a situation where like, man, it's like a good buy. I call my real estate agent, Rachel Pashoda. Hey, Rachel, what's the deal on this? What's the taxes and everything? I can look all that up, but Rachel's a really good friend. She'll send all that to me. She'll do the numbers and everything. And then if I get to the property management, I call my friend Kevin. Like, hey, look, this is the property. You know, all right, why don't you take care of it 10%? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's done. So I say all that to say I'm trying to do that in everything. I did it with my brand. I got to the point where because I do everything but screen print, the design, the social media. Like if you look at my page, it takes some work. So the social media, the branding, and all that. And I got to the point where like, man, I better get help.
Yeah.
I reached out. Yeah. I mean, not even the social part, but it's like it's so much involved in it. You know, it's like, and like I said, all this comes from learning, failing. Man, if you look at my Instagram page from the very beginning, you're like, man, he took this from a Nokia. They don't even have cameras, you know, type deal. So, but it was bad in the beginning, man. But like I had to go through it.
Yeah, yeah.
If I'm serious about this, you gotta be.
You gotta live.
Willing. Right.
Yeah.
I would say, isn't that part of the grind? Like
Yeah.
to embrace the know-how, to embrace the journey. So then, when you can get to a position, you can say, okay, well, you know what? I understand this, but let me get somebody who has expertise.
That's right.
And now I can afford to hire them or whatever
That's
and
it.
branch off from there.
That is it. If you look at everything I've done in real estate from the very beginning, it was a situation where it's obvious the mistakes I made. I mean, my wife could probably contest to some of the real estate stuff. Like, man, you about to do what? No, I'm not doing that. You know, but even with the brand, like you look at my other, and to go back to what you said, I did that on purpose. I want to show my imperfections. Like, dude, I don't have it all together. I'm in the same boat as you guys. But like I say, what drives me is the legacy. Like, all that matters to me. Like, I mean, I need to, like we were talking earlier, like, man, these guys have way more property than I have, so I need to network with these guys.
Right.
Or, you know, with the brands, I can be that guy and say, I'm not trying to be like Kip. I'm not trying to be like Dave and John. Why not? You know, it's like, you know, it's enough in this world for everybody, you know, so I think everybody can eat, you know, so. But yeah, you're absolutely right, man. The grind is, like I said, it's necessary, you know.